we have discussed about the introduction of productivity. What is the productivity? Basically we discuss about the primary production and the introduction of the ecosystem productivity. So have you all attended my previous lecture? So what is the primary source of energy? That is sun. So solar energy is trapped by the producer, that are plant. Okay, then it is stored in the plants, and from the plant it is transferred for consumers, heterotrophs. So now let's start with the primary production. So we were discussing about the production, means how we will calculate the productivity. So primary production can be defined as the amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a time period. Okay, so what happened in the photosynthesis? There is the synthesis of food. Okay, solar energy is trapped by the plants. Then there is the photosynthesis. Okay, so plant uses the carbon dioxide. So carbon is fixed. Carbon dioxide is fixed. Okay, and then there is the production of biomass. So that we can say means the production of organic matter from the inorganic compound. So primary production can also be defined as the synthesis of organic material from inorganic compounds. What is this? Carbon dioxide and water. So carbon dioxide is available in the atmosphere. We all exhale the carbon dioxide. All the heterotrophs, all the consumers exhale the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That is taken up by the plants, and plant convert these into the organic matter. So how it happens? This reaction is carried out in the presence of solar light. So so energy is trapped from the sun. So synthesis of organic carbon from carbon dioxide is commonly called carbon fixation. So we can also call this is the carbon fixation. Carbon dioxide is fixed by both photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. In the introduction of ecosystem, we have also discussed there are some other autotrophs, means other than plants. There are some bacteria also, okay, which perform chemosynthesis. So they are also autotrophs. Okay, but generally it is not discussed. So we are in all the studies. So chemosynthesis is not discussed. So what is the primary production? This is the synthesis of organic material from inorganic compound. So in the single line you can define. So it is we can express this. Okay, of weight or energy, the rate of biomass production is called productivity. So this rate is called productivity, rate of biomass production. Okay, so these are the units: gram, year, so kilocalorie, mole. This you can consider. So we will take some example to understand this productivity. Okay, we can compare the productivity of the different ecosystems. How much production is there? There is a production of organic matter from inorganic compounds. So we can also call this carbon dioxide fixation or carbon fixation. Chlorophyll pigment is used here. So what is gross primary productivity? Gross primary productivity is referred to as the total energy captured by the photosynthetic organism. Okay, so there is a solar radiation trapped by the plants. So this is converted, that is captured, and then it is converted into organic matter. Mean net primary production is high in tropical. So this is the example that also we have discussed on the last turn. It is lowest in the desert, because in the desert we do not find the plants. Plants are not there to convert the solar energy into the chemical energy. I mean the organic matter that is a form of chemical. So there are the different forms of energy. Energy is there. Energy exists in the environment. So it is never destroyed. But the forms of energy vary from each other. So means it is converting into one form to another. Okay. There are the different forms of energy like mechanical energy, okay, chemical energy. I mean there are the different forms of the energy. So it cannot be created or destroyed. But the forms changes. It can be changed in the different forms. Who is there? So the primary productivity is high of tropical rainforest. Now come to the net primary productivity. What is this? So gross primary productivity is defined at the initial level. Okay, the amount of energy that is trapped by the plants during the photosynthesis. What is net primary productivity? This is the productivity that is defined at the next level. Who is the next one? Who is dependent on the plants? Producer? Can you tell me who is dependent on the plants? All the heterotrophs. They cannot synthesize their own food. Okay. So the net primary productivity is the net stored energy in the green plant. So this is the net accumulation of biomass which serve as food for herbivores and decomposers. So this is the amount of food that will be available to heterotrophs, means herbivores and decomposers. Means we can call them the consumers. So within the consumer there are the herbivores. Those are dependent on the vegetarian food. So how it is calculated? This is the net primary productivity. Because plants also do the respiration, they also need the energy. So they use their energy. So we can calculate the net primary productivity. I mean we can subtract the respiration from the gross primary productivity, because whatever energy they use, the plants use in the respiration, okay, that can be subtracted from the gross primary productivity. So that is called net primary productivity. That is transferred to heterotrophs, from autotrophs to heterotrophs, means to the consumer, primary consumer. So we call this net primary productivity. So this is the amount of energy that is available to heterotrophs or herbivores. Okay, those are dependent on the vegetarian food, because plants also need their energy. They also do the respiration. Okay, so they also require minimum amount. So we can subtract that value from gross primary productivity. जो भी after that, what is the remaining part, that is called net primary productivity, which is transferred from producer to the consumers, means the primary consumers. Net primary productivity is okay, measure of the amount of organic matter produced in a community in a given time available to heterotrophs. So for the community we can calculate this, like for the aquatic system, for the forest ecosystem, or for the different systems we can calculate in a given time, like for the 24 hours, or we can calculate whatever we want. Okay, for a year we can calculate. So aquatic systems in the silver, this the example I have taken from the internet. A Silver Spring, Florida, the net productivities are given here. The rate of energy storage as biomass for the trophic level. So it is given here. Primary producer, plants and algae. Okay, so this is the productivity given for the aquatic ecosystem. The example that I have taken, I have given here. Okay, so that was given by the Howard T. Odum. So this is the famous scientist who worked on the environment. So Odum is a famous name in the field of environment. Okay, so here you can see the primary producers. So this is given here 7618 kilocalorie meter per square per year, means it is calculated for the year. Should come here and okay. Now you can see clearly primary consumers, snails and insect larvae. So these all are the primary consumers in the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, so the productivity is given here. Now it is less. Okay, now it is less than this. जो ऊपर वैल्यू दी उससे कम है. फिर सेकेंडरी कंज्यूमर्स को जो मिलता है वो उससे भी कम मिलता है. Then come to the tertiary consumers. So you can compare how much is transferred from this level to this level, and this happens through the food chain in the aquatic ecosystem. So each ecosystem is run by the food chain. So in the food chain there is the transfer of the energy. So biomass is transferred, so biomass is converted into the energy. So we can compare. Okay, so this value is high than this and this value is high than this. I mean in comparison to, so primary productivity is high than this, और इस तरह से on the each level it will be reduced. So what is transfer efficiency? Means the transfer efficiency varies between levels and do not show precise value of 10%. In the last class I told you that 10%, only 10% energy is transferred from one trophic level to another, but it is not always true. Means this is not the absolute value. Here you can see this is not the absolute value. That means we cannot calculate you or by the values you can see. The not only the means 10% law is not strictly followed, although it has become the law, but this is not strictly followed up. Means it doesn't show the precise value of 10%. So transfer efficiency varies between levels. So how it is calculated? Transfer efficiency, how it is calculated? So we can divide the primary consumer by primary producers. Obviously the primary producers are more in number and primary consumers are less in number. So okay, so primary consumers, number of primary consumers divided by the primary producer, then multiplied by 100. So it is the transfer efficiency. We can calculate the transfer efficiency. Okay, it is clear to you why the gross primary productivity is high after the respiration than net primary productivity that is available to the heterotrophs, okay, or herbivores. So these are the, we have taken the example of aquatic ecosystem of Silver Springs, Florida. So we can compare here how it is reduced, okay, at each level, and it can be shown by the transfer efficiency. Now come to the secondary productivity. Primary productivity is clear to you. Primary productivity we can define by the two terms, gross primary productivity and net primary productivity. So what is the difference? Same है, that is the same thing, but इसमें क्या है, जो plants use करते हैं, plant use the energy, plants also do the respiration, so they also need the energy. उसको हम minus कर देंगे तो जो बचेगा वो that is primary productivity, means net primary productivity, that is transferred to the heterotrophs. लेकिन ये भी पूरा ट्रांसफ़र नहीं होगा बिकॉज वी कैन नॉट ईट, दैट इज़ अवेलेबल. ये अवेलेबल है, द नेट प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी मीन्स दिस इज अवेलेबल बट it cannot be transferred completely to the heterotrophs because we all are heterotrophs, so we cannot eat all the plants. जितना भी अवेलेबल है वो सारा हम नहीं यूज़ कर सकते हैं. So what is 10%? So we can say it doesn't show the precise value of 10%. By the law, the 10% energy is transferred from one trophic level to another. So energy is not lost as the first law, by the first law of the thermodynamics. There is energy can change their form, but it cannot be destroyed, or it cannot be created or destroyed. Okay, but here we are defining, we are saying that the energy is transferred from one trophic level to another in the ecosystem. That is the rule. The energy is there, but it cannot be completely transferred. Okay, in the closed system we transfer the energy. In the closed system we do the experiment, adiabatic, or there are the different types of the experiment we do in the thermodynamics. That is a different thing, but for the open system it is true. Now come to the secondary productivity. What is secondary productivity? Is referred to as the net rate of increase in biomass of heterotrophs. Means how much energy we will use, that is used by the heterotroph. We are the heterotrophs. Human, animals, we all are the heterotrophs. So there are the different consumers level, primary, secondary, tertiary. So this is the net rate of increase in biomass of heterotrophs. How much biomass level is increased at the consumer level. So this turned as food to the next trophic level. So there are the three types of the radiation that is used. This is the different types of radiation that is trapped by the sun. It is clear to you. Secondary productivity, that is the net rate of increase in the biomass of heterotrophs at the consumer level. This turned as the food to the next level. So primary consumer, the energy that is available for primary consumer, that is a net primary productivity that is available to the heterotrophs, primary consumers. Now primary consumer has to provide food for the secondary consumer. So what is secondary productivity? Whatever amount of food that is available to the secondary consumer, that is called secondary productivity. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Whatever amount of productivity that is available to the secondary consumer, that is called secondary productivity. Okay, because next it is written here, food to the next trophic level. Next trophic level means कौन सा level होगा? Primary, producer. After that primary consumer, then after that okay, I have lost the connection. After that there is the so we all were here. We have discussed about the transfer efficiency. Hello, are you all here? Okay, are you all here? So we were discussing about the transfer efficiency. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This has been done. Secondary productivity.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you know what is secondary productivity? This is the amount of food or energy that is available to the next level. How can you define the secondary productivity? What is primary productivity? net primary productivity that is available to the heterotrophs, means the primary consumers. Now this is the amount of food that is available to the next trophic level. Now which one is the next trophic level? Secondary consumer. So secondary productivity can be defined amount of food or energy that is available, or productivity that is available to the consumer, secondary consumers. Amount of food or productivity or energy that is available to the secondary consumer, that is called secondary productivity. There are different levels. Okay, producer, then producer to primary consumers, then primary consumers to secondary consumers. So secondary productivity is defined at the level of, at the trophic level, secondary consumers. Okay, so this is all that we have taken from the solar energy. So the energy is trapped by the producer and it is available, and this we can we define in terms of productivity. So what type of radiation emitted by the sun? That is UV radiation, 30% of total. Okay, infrared radiation, there are the different types of radiation that is emitted by the sun. Ultraviolet radiation, highly penetrating radiation with short wavelength. Okay, infrared radiation, 20% of total radiation. So what is infrared radiation? That is available, means all the things of the earth, all the earthly articles, all the belongings, so that are heated by this infrared radiation. Why there is so much summer? Okay, so temperature of the earth is increased by this infrared radiation. Okay, because this radiation has a longer wavelength and easily absorbed by our surrounding. Okay, by the earth, because it has the longer wavelength. And ultraviolet radiation, it is highly penetrating. Okay, it causes the disease in the human also, skin cancer or different kinds of disease. So nowadays it reach on the earth due to the ozone hole. Although almost all the radiation goes back to the in the atmosphere due to the presence of ozone layer, but nowadays we have the ozone layer, so due to that, so there are different kinds of radiation. Infrared radiation, 20%, and there is a visible light or photosynthetically active radiation. Okay, so this is our focus. So UV radiation, plant cannot use that. Infrared radiation, where it is used? To increase the temperature of the earth. जो भी अर्थ पे जितनी भी गर्मी है, that is because of infrared radiation. UV radiation क्या है? वो that is highly penetrating. तो ये भी हमारे काम का नहीं है. So what we use, what the plant uses, the visible light or photosynthetically active radiation, that is called PAR, the 50% of the total radiation. Visible light or photosynthetically active radiation. So this is important and responsible for the productivity, the whole productivity of the earth. So 50% of total radiation is visible light only. What happened then? So 50% of total radiation is reached on the earth. So out of this 50%, only 2 to 10% of this is used in the photosynthesis. So this is very less photosynthetically active radiation, we call this. So 50% of total is available. Okay, so how much is used? 2 to 10%. So this is responsible for the productivity. This radiation, 2 to 10%, is used for the productivity. So you can define the productivity according to this also. So nowadays the people are trying, all the scientists are trying to increase the efficiency, trying to trap the solar energy, this 50% solar energy. but we do not have the efficient photovoltaic panels. So scientists are working to increase the efficiency of the photovoltaic panels so that they can trap more solar energy, okay, and can so that it can be used as the alternative source of energy, okay, for the human life. So on the earth we have too much okay temperature, so we are facing in the summers. So this is the alternative source of energy responsible for the productivity. Is it clear to you? Some natural and biological sources are appropriate for producing renewable energy, which is classified as bioenergy. So this is also called means the whatever is stored in the plants or in the forest, or we can use that biomass to produce the bioenergy, although it is very costly, because if we'll use that energy, there may be the food security problem. Okay, so the byproducts of different ordinary sources such as plants, animals, waste material can be utilized in the production of bioenergy as the major part. So biomass, this is the form. Bioenergy is produced from the biomass. We can also use this energy as the alternative source of energy, but this may cause the food insecurity problem, because biomass is important for all the organisms that lives on the different trophic levels. Primary for the primary consumers, this is important, because herbivores are dependent on the vegetarian food. Okay, now come to the MS. This is all clear to you? This was all about the productivity. So these are the some natural and biological sources are appropriate for producing renewable energy, which is classified as bioenergy. So the biological sources can be used and biomass energy can be used. So that is called bioenergy. Byproduct of different ordinary sources such as plants, animals, waste material can be utilized to produce the bioenergy. Modern technology, abandoned coal mine, dumping grounds, pits created by mining, landfills, waste zones, even makes the potential bioenergy resource. So this we all have to study in the natural resources. Okay, I have explained it here because it was related to the resource. Now the productivity, the lecture on the productivity is over. So this is the text I have taken from the different articles, and we have published one review article related to the bioenergy. So this I have taken some text from that article. So bioenergy is the important energy. Nowadays the people are working on that, scientists are working on that. So the collection of biomass that can be used. So heat, fuel, gas can be produced from such lands which are also sustainable and power sources. Why I am explaining it here. So in that way we can move towards sustainable development. So this is the alternative source of energy also. So today we have discussed about the productivity. Do you have any question? This is the article. This is the article from where I have taken this. This is the article that is written by me and with my students. Okay, Devanshu Agnihotri. Challenges and environmental impacts of biomass energy in the South Asia. Okay, and these are the different articles that I have taken to make this lecture. Okay. Are you all here? I want to show you the figure. Sorry. research okay, this is the article that we have published. So you can see, I mean, this explain the about the bioenergy. What is the scope of bioenergy in the South Asia? So we have also given the introductory aspect of the productivity in this article. So you can read from this. Only introduction is given here, transfer efficiency. Okay. So basically this article is on bioenergy, not on the productivity, but we have given the productivity of the ecosystem in the introduction part that I have also included in my lecture. So this is the figure that I want to show you. This is the figure. So in this figure you can see how the radiant energy, this explains the radiant energy is used by the plants. Okay, and carbon dioxide is used to make the food, to synthesize the glucose or to synthesize the organic compound sugar, okay, in the presence of sunlight. Okay, because photosynthesis is carried out in the leaf, and in the leaf we have the chlorophyll pigment. So chlorophyll pigment is important. So this figure so the estimated international biomass trade is depicted from since 2004 to 2011, different types of the biomass that can be used to produce the energy. So year wise it has been depicted here. This is the alternative source of energy also. Okay, so this is the figure, means the productivity is dependent on the solar energy, how much energy is trapped by the sun. Okay, then it is converted into organic matter. So primary productivity can be defined, I mean the production of organic matter from inorganic compound in the presence of sunlight. I mean, because what is primary production? It also includes chemosynthesis, but here for the plants. So primary production you can define the synthesis of organic matter from inorganic compounds. Okay, it is of two types, photosynthesis and chemosynthesis, but basically we consider the photosynthesis in this for the primary production. And these are the sources of biomass. Biomass has been depicted, estimated international biomass trade. So means the peoples are using these as the alternative source of energy. Wood pellet, fuel wood, charcoal, ethanol. I mean there are different types of products that is obtained from the plants. Okay, so if you want to read more you can read this article also. Do you have any question? The lecture is now over. There was some disconnection at the middle, but I have done the recording. I have recorded this lecture, so this will be available to you. Do you have any question on this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you can ask any question related to this, related to energy. Although in the energy part we will also discuss this in the natural resources. Today I just wanted to teach you the productivity that we were discussing on the in the last classes also with the other students. If you have, these are the references that is given here. So now if you have any question you can ask. EVS, this is your ECE branch, branch. Okay. it is date 10th. Okay, now write down your attendance in the chat box. So on the Saturday you have activity class. You have to be present in the activity class. You have to prepare your introduction. Okay, you have to introduce yourself. Just prepare your introduction and then be available in the activity class. Do you have any question regarding activity class? Everybody has to present in the activity class. Nobody will be absent from there. Okay, so on the 3rd March we will do some kind of activity. You need to prepare for that. Okay, that is for the preparation of for the event on the 3rd March. So we will do in our class among the students of the different branches. You have to prepare your introduction well. Okay, prepare your introduction, then be present. So present in the introduce yourself in the class. When will you have the next one? Saturday. Okay, 10 o'clock. Okay, there is no excuse. So now the class is over.